Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello. I'm having trouble. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? It's Hello. Embarrassed. I'm having trouble. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's like a delayed reaction. Can you hear me now? This is gonna be a funny first video. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I'm having trouble. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's like a delayed reaction. Can you hear me? This is gonna be a funny first video. Hi, Gorby. Is that how you say your name? Because like I'm also listening to it on YouTube too. It's like a delayed reaction. This is gonna be a funny first video. I feel like it's repeating what I'm saying. Because like I'm also listening to it on YouTube too. I could hear a lot of breathing. Because I got like the headset on. I feel like it's repeating what I'm saying. That'll be a funny clippable moment. I could hear a lot of breathing. I got like the headset on. Well, at least we know what's right and what's wrong, right? Gorby, are you watching on Twitch? It says Twitch. So even if you can't see the lettering on the screen, I can definitely see what you're typing. Is the mic too loud? Because I can turn it down if it is. Just let me know. Today's discussion is going to be about menglong. This is very interesting. So I'm using like OBS Studios. I'm not just streaming right to like a platform. I'm trying like the multi-stream thing. So I'm gonna see how that goes. This isn't my first time streaming actually. I did it once before, just through the TikTok stream. It was really fun. I haven't figured out. I'm not exactly a pro at OBS Studios just yet, but you know, it's fun to try new things. But all those plugins were so confusing to me. Well, let's try it out. Let's see. I'm gonna go to Twitch now. Just gonna see how the live is looking. Yay! The live is looking. Yay! Do you like the video, Gorby? It's for you, Long. So the chat's working, the video's working. Looks like everything's good. I'm gonna try a couple of different scenes, okay? So it's gonna switch up, but don't be freaked out. Gonna see if it registers. and how fast it takes it to. Oh, yay! Okay, there it goes. I'm sorry if it's so dark in here. Like, it's still early in the morning. So, like, it's just dark in here. That one's for Tea Tuesdays. Isn't it cute? It's so cute. And there we have whatever Wednesdays for YouTube. I just, react to videos on YouTube or whatever, whatever we want to do. Therapy Thursdays, you just tell me what's going on in your life and I, give my advice as best as I can. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I do games. Like Friday, I do card games because I love solitary. So I do like different versions of solitary. And then Saturday, I do Roblox or Minecraft or, Fortnite. Right now, I only have Roblox. So I'm only going to be doing Roblox for now until like I save up. And then Sunday is I spy games because I'm really good at those. Let's go back to menglong because it's Monday, menglong day. Yes, so tragic what I heard about Yu Menglong. It was a man that was said to have been offed by his government after he discovered money laundering. So I got everything here. I think I'll just go ahead and start. You're welcome to stay. Definitely give your feedback. So today, the things we will be covering is his autopsy, be covering his missing body. I'm going to be talking about what happened that night. Um, it's basically like that summary that you see posted in every single TikTok about him. And then I'm going to be talking about his abuse, his alleged girlfriend, things I do think happened, things I don't think happened. What can Amnesty do to help? What can the AVAS do to help? We'll be talking about his contract, residents' reviews slash strange behaviors, the CCP. We're talking about Golden Booster Awards, and just some other things that I find were fundamental to the case. Okay, so first I'm going to start with that what happened that night to him. I'm going to read that off to you guys. This case is definitely comes with a warning label on it because it's not for the faint of heart. It's a very heavy topic. Okay, so it's basically telling us what happened that night. Of course, it's just I feel like it's just alleged. I don't think it's like I don't know, but I'm gonna read anyways, and So on the night of the 8th, 17 criminals gathered at a villa where they drugged and injected Yumin Long. In the early hours of the 8th, Yu attempted to escape and call the police, but was caught and restrained by them. A related video exists. The villa was the first crime scene. On the 9th, the torture continued. During this time, Yu may have obtained a USB drive either to bargain for his life or because he discovered its existence. The criminals demanded that he hand over the USB, and it's possible that he swallowed it. They then began hurting him by suspending him upside down. The later screams in the video were clearly cries of agony. After enduring a full day of abuse, by nightfall, he was barely alive and was thrown from the building. This moment was captured by paparazzi. The sixth floor became the second crime scene. On the morning of the 10th, because Yu had not died from the fall and was still lying on the grass, they dragged him back into the building. Hallway surveillance footage confirms this. They once again threatened him to hand over the video, but he refused. At this point, they summoned a private doctor to cut open his abdomen, and Yu died during the procedure. A Japanese man then wrapped gauze around his stomach, and on the fifth floor, they dressed him in clean clothes that had been prepared in advance. It was later revealed that the sixth, fifth, fourth, and third floors were all under their control. Afterwards, in the early hours of the morning, they began moving the body in order to stage a fake fall from the building. The fifth floor thus became the third crime scene. At 5:15 a.m. on the 11th, a photo was taken showing Yu's abdomen wrapped in gauze. His broken thigh, unnaturally folded, signs of rigor mortis already present, and bleeding from the head. His first fall had him land head first. To further disfigure him, they smashed his face with stones. I'm sorry, that's I don't know if I should have said that, but the paparazzi who had been hiding in the shadows immediately leaked the news. The criminals then turned on each other, exposing one another. Now they are trying to release manipulated and generated videos that he was abusing kids. And that concludes the uh, the summary that you see going around on every single human long post, unfortunately. A lot of this case is alleged, but it seems like a lot of people were around when it happened, you know? Not to mention you have the neighbors that said they heard things too. But, everything is supposedly, unconfirmed right now. So, okay, let's get on with his autopsy, the unofficial. I'm going to give you guys a warning. This topic is sensitive. If you want to click off, I'm totally fine with that. I get it. I have done my best actually to leave out certain words, or switch certain words for other words, so it's not too graphic in nature. So, according to the unofficial autopsy, there were multiple fractures on the left side of his chest, internal bleeding, and damage to his internal organs, such as liver lacerations, scalp trauma, suggesting pulling, a broken nose, and all but one tooth, the bottom missing. Evidence of SA and severe back area tears. And before you guys try to ask if he was gay, he wasn't. He was completely straight. Now, me personally, if I was a gay male, like I'm sure that during sex I'd use some type of lube or something to protect myself down there. There shouldn't be no reason for severe tears down there. But if he was in fact SA, then severe tears down there would definitely make more sense. The report also said that his nails were ripped off and that there was multiple DNA found inside of him. Reports also say that there were multiple bruises in different stages of healing, suggesting that those injuries happened over time and not all at once. There were also mentions of deep pressure marks on his wrists and ankles, which suggests he was restrained. The most shocking was claims of a sedative and a tranquilizing substance were found in his system, which definitely explains why he couldn't fight back or defend himself. So basically, his body showed signs that were not consistent with a single fall from a fifth floor. Are you guys with me? I'm going to move my keyboard real quickly. I'm like literally reading from a book right now. But yeah, I'm sorry if I'm yawning. It's like 7 in the morning. I am a morning bird though. I'm an early bird. But that's only because I stay up all throughout the night. Okay, let's get on to the next topic. I'm trying to stall. All right, I'm gonna talk about his missing body. I was wondering, like, is his body really missing? Like, because some people say it was, right? All I found out about his body was that his body was cremated quickly after the 12 to 24-hour investigation. And a lot of people find that suspicious because his mom never saw the body before it was cremated. Now, I had also heard that he wasn't cremated, but his body is in fact hidden somewhere beneath the 798 Museum, which is rumored to have been one of the places he was held hostage in the months leading up to his death. I also read that it's possible that his body was used to harvest his organs for higher ups. It's just so many things about this case that's just messed up, guys. There's no official autopsy, no detailed forensic or autopsy reports have been released by the public, or to the public, excuse me. I know, murder so early in the morning, I'm sorry. But I've been up for hours. So there's only screenshots of a perforated autopsy report, said to be from the Beijing Shangting Forensic Appraisal Center, which has circulated widely. That was a report I read to you earlier. The report detailed extensive injuries, including multiple fractures, organ damage, missing teeth, and the signs of SA that some foreign forensic analysis claim are inconsistent with a fall from that height. Right, because the initial police report had said that he jumped from the fifth floor because he was depressed, and a lot of people were like, "How do you if you wanted to self exit, you wouldn't do it from like the fifth floor. Like that's very short a distance. You would go to like the top of the building, not the fifth floor." Now, I want to throw in an interesting fact for you guys. I learned this from Rotten Mango. Sorry, her name is Stephanie Sue on YouTube. She's amazing. I love her. She does very good murder mysteries and cases, and her and her husband. He sits in there. He'll like comment on the cases. They're a really nice couple. It's very nice. So I want to interject a fact that I want you guys to know that I found out from her. A lot of buildings in China don't have a fourth floor due to a superstition, right? The number four is considered unlucky because the pronunciation of four is very similar to the word for death. So even though he fell from the sixth floor, technically he fell from the fifth floor. Okay, another thing I had a question about was like the location of his body, right? You guys can comment. I can still see the comments, so go ahead and comment. Don't be afraid. It's just an overlay for you, menglong. I saw the original photo of when he was first found, right? I'm sure we all have by now, right? It wasn't just me, or was his body moved? I know it's been said that he was thrown out the window twice, but I feel like when his body was found, it was placed at the front so that it would be found easily. Like, because if you look at the photo and then the window that he fell out, it was on the right side, not in the center. And you can see his body was like right in the center on the stairs. But the window he fell out of was like located like on my right, on the right. But that was just something I was just wondering about. So now these are a few interviews from the residents that live at the Sunshine Shandong residence complex. That really helped me decide that yes, he was in fact, murdered. We'll just use that word because we can't say certain words. This info was also from Rotten Mango, Stephanie Sue. Many neighbors reported hearing screaming and fighting all night long, leading up to Human Long's death. Some people even said that they knew he was at an event, but there was a lot of screaming, which was very unusual for their building. There were also lots of threats being screamed. And then when they wake up the next morning, they heard that the actor died. Like it had to be connected. And so they want justice. Those neighbors also commented on how easy it is to hear through the walls. They are paper thin. How's the sound, guys? Is it echoing? Let me know, because I'm still figuring out things. Trying to figure out listenable too, because it's streaming to YouTube and Twitch. Twitch is an interesting name for a gaming platform or whatever, ain't it? Twitch. Like, where'd they get that name from? So those neighbors also commented on how easy it is to hear through the walls. They're paper thin. Also, when reporters tried to hold on to side interviews, almost all the residents shut down. They refused to speak. Hold on, I'm doing a little check. We're checking, we're checking. Today's our checking day. Yes, we're making sure everything's going running smoothly. This is like our what's the word? Our testing week. Making sure everything's running nicely and smoothly. I'm gonna be doing this every Monday, just so you guys know. Okay, so getting back to it. Also, when reporters tried to hold on-site interviews, almost all the residents shut down. They refused to speak. Also, the main action that sealed the deal for me was when the building denied access to any surveillance footage that they could have had, the reporters and the public. That made people think that they were either threatened with violence or bought off. I personally think that they were bought off because what normal person responds well to being threatened? But of course, it's all just speculation. The window that he supposedly jumped out of, there were a couple of official interviews from the neighbors commenting on the window that he fell out of. One lady had said they said that he fell from the fifth floor, and that's a pretty short distance. She said that she had stood there watching for a very long time, puzzled, because how does someone fall from the fifth floor and pass away? Because on the windows is a metal mesh, which is damn near impossible to break. You could literally have to cut it. She also mentioned how she saw a lot of cops from outside the window. They were in the room that the actor had jumped out of, supposedly. She could see them trying to figure out what happened. And it looks like even they were puzzled. They looked like they were trying to reenact a bunch of scenarios to emulate what happened. Okay, I'm done covering the more grim topics. The next thing I'm going to discuss is things about the case that I don't think happened. I just want to put it out there that I'm not trying to make anybody mad by saying these things. It's just my personal opinion. Opinion. I don't think that the videos of massive crowds marching the streets holding signs for human long are real because I'd see comments under those videos stating that that was from blank holiday that just happened recently. And then I look closer, right, and see that even cops were marching along with the crowd. I do believe that people are in fact marching, but not to such a massive scale. So I want you guys to remember that not a lot of people in China know about what happened to Human Long. His case and everything about him have been heavily censored by the Chinese government. So that's why I don't believe that those pics and videos are real. But don't worry, they will be soon enough. So keep raising awareness and sharing the AVAS for sure. I'm sorry for this next one, but I don't believe that there is a USB. Now let me explain why. Because when I thought about it, right, like why on earth would he show up to an event with a device that houses such damning information on it? Like he was supposed to be at a party. Why would the device be there on him? Let me rephrase that. I don't believe he had a USB on him at the time. Another thing, I don't believe he was forced to wear shoes that were too big for him as punishment slash neglect. A lot of idols and actors are made to wear shoes that are a little too big to them for them to protect their feet because they would be walking or standing for long periods of time. Same with traveling, because years ago, guys, like I remember seeing BTS, EXO, and actors from the Untamed, and members of girl groups wearing shoes that were too big for them. And I remember going on the internet and asking why idols wear shoes that are too big, and that was the answer that they gave me. And I just wanted you guys to consider that when you see his shoes, and it's normal for the entertainment industry for people that are in it to wear bigger shoes. Now that's just my personal opinion, you know. I also saw a video of you being, can I say that word, tortured on here? Okay, well, we'll say it. And in it, you could hear him say, "Foodie is here to save me," right? Well, guys, I found a video disproving that also. Yimeng Long was on a show, and in one of the clips, I heard him say, "Look, Foodie's here to save me." And when I heard that, I was shocked. So I don't believe that the dogs were there the night he was murdered. Murdered, excuse me. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe with all my heart that he was tortured and that those videos of his torture are real. But I just believe that they added like a voiceover of him saying, "Foodie's here to save me" as a distraction. Because if people find out that part was like added in, then they would probably doubt the whole video is real. But I just wanted to reiterate that I think that that one part was added into it because not on a real torture video, and to like cause doubt on a real torture video. I'm sorry for this one also, but I personally don't think he was signaling for help in his videos. I'm sorry, the signaling wasn't very clear to me. It just to me it just looked like he was covering his face out of shyness. But of course that was just me. But that was just me. I'm sorry, but I also don't believe that Ching Song was in that video. He's the one with the red hair. You know that video of Human Long running through the corridors, the building? The poster I typed, you can see his red hair. You can see your Chen Ching Song's red hair. I'm sorry if I'm botching up his name. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't see any red hair in that video. In fact, I couldn't even see any red in anything in that video. Like I couldn't see that could be accidentally mistaken as red hair. I couldn't see anything that could be accidentally mistaken as a red head of hair. And I can see what ain't there. I'm sorry. Not so you guys personally, like, if you ever see a post related to this case that's trying to convince you that something is happening, but you just aren't seeing or aren't believing that it makes sense, don't try to gaslight yourself into trying to see something or hear something. Because this case needs honesty. Just putting it out there. Another thing I don't believe is that his teeth were missing before that night. There was a video that I saw going around where he was playing in a show, and from the angle the camera was at, you couldn't see his bottom teeth at all. Well, I just wanted to say, don't worry. I watched the full clip, and his bottom teeth do come into view, and he has got some beautiful teeth. But on that note, I want to say that I do feel like some of the videos that have come out are in fact AI generated, but it's used for the intention of illustrating visually what happened during his torture. Like, for example, in a video that's going around, there's a person walking around a dark building, and then all of a sudden you hear Human Lung's voice crying, right? Also, the video that I mentioned before where Human Long was saying, "Fully is here to save me," but you can hear that same line be said by him in a show. I think they edited his voice in, but just to create a visual. Also, in the video with him crying, you could hear someone call his name, Mung Mung, where according to them, you could hear, but I couldn't hear anything. All I heard was crying. Now, things I do believe happened. I do believe that some people in China are putting his picture up on LED boards, but like I did see a reel with his face on an LED board next to a Godiva chocolate. I think I'm saying that right. Godiva. Let's say a Godiva chocolate store. Now, I did repost that video up to my TikTok. So you guys can go check that out if you want to. Now, I did start to think more on the USB. Like, if Yumin Long did happen to bring up the fact that he had a USB on him that held incriminating evidence against the higher ups, and Fan Chi was there, then it would totally make sense as to why he would shout out, like spit it out. And that creates motive for him to try and get it from Menglong. And Fan Chi is related to one of the the higher ups in the government, allegedly. But if he is, it would definitely be a family over friends type situation. Hi, Bubba. I know, right? It is finally. I know. I'm so embarrassed. I had to wait for some of my stuff to come in. We're talking about human long today. It's a very sensitive topic. So definitely warnings, not for the weak, the faint of heart. So to get back to what I was saying, it would definitely be a family over friends type situation. Thanks, Bubba. Today's menglong Monday. Coming with me for Tea Tuesday, whatever Wednesday, Therapy Thursday, Friday games, Saturday, Sunday games. Right now, I don't have Minecraft or what's the other one, Fortnite. But I will as soon as I save up for those. So right now, we're just going to stick with Roblox and I Spy games and card games. But don't worry, I can make it very interesting for you. I know I'm on early in the morning, but technically I've been up all night. So because like I'm a night owl because I like work third shift at my job, right? So my sleep schedule stays the same even on my off days. Because like I work 10 to 7, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I try to keep my same sleep schedule even on my off days. So even though I'm like off today, I've still been up all night. So if I start to yawn, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to. So now my theory was that human long. Oh, Bubba, is my audio coming in nicely? It's not echoing or nothing, repeating itself. So let me know how it's sounding. My theory was that human long confided in Feng Shiqi about the USB, but Feng Shiqi was already greasing the bad guy's palms. I also read that him and a few other the people that were bribed to keep tabs on you. Yeah, I heard that. Like I heard that him and a few other people were bribed to keep tabs on him. I'm sorry, I don't remember the details. There are a lot of theories and information swirling around about this case, but to bring it back to my original point, the next question I would have is why did Human Long choose to bring such a device with him? And why reveal it then and there? Awesome, thanks, Bubba. Now, theory incoming. Maybe it was because he thought Fan Shichi was his best friend. Yeah, even your best friends can betray you. I will be talking about that on Tea Tuesday. I have like a lot of. It'd be nice to talk to somebody and get their advice and opinions on what I can do in my life right now. Dealing with ex best friends that like to stab you in the back. But getting back to Human Long, that's a story for a different time. But of course, everything's just speculation about his case for now, or at least according to the government, it is. I don't trust them right now. His abuse. That's another. This is another sensitive topic. Just gonna let you guys know. In 2 years, he went to the hospital 17 times. Like, can you believe it? And the explanation behind that was that it is believed that every time he would try to reach out to anyone, asking for help, his handlers would find out and then punish him by beating him. Like that would explain all the bruises and all the bruises that you could see on his face. Like, I'm sorry, Bubba, this is like such a terrible topic to be talking about on the first day, but it's very important to me. But this is like what's it called? Testing week, so making sure all my backdrops are working out perfectly. I have other scenes too. Hopefully, you come for all of them. I'm gonna be on every day, honestly. and at 8 a.m. So another TikToker whose video I saw made an interesting point. His name is K Brooks. He said, in order to keep Human Long silent and not talking about the things he went through, one would have had to have a lot of people around him to keep him quiet. Like, did you guys ever notice, like, how in pictures of him with his bodyguard, Du Chiang, the guy would be watching him like a hawk. And in one video, we see Du Quan. I know I'm saying his name wrong, but whatever. Du Shan or whatever his name. And another man inside of a building with Men Long, and they were both like on his, how do I explain it? They're both on each of his side grabbing his arms and rushing him out of sight. Like, it's just weird. I literally thought he looked like he was being held hostage. Just a very unsettling thing for me to see. I reposted that video to my. Aw, thank you. Yeah, Human Long was just recently killed last year, September 11th. Go figure. And the story is that he was. It wasn't a simple. Uh, Authorities in China had said that he had jumped out the window himself, but media and fans and people are saying that it was not like accidental. He was murdered, and they got a whole bunch of videos proving it. They got videos of that night. They got everything. Like, it's just unsettling, this case. And I wanted to ask you a question, Bubba. Like, is it possible for police to rule out criminal activity without finding out the cause of death? Because that's what the cops on this case did in China, right? They ruled out any criminal activity without knowing the cause of death. Like, how do you rule out a criminal activity if you don't know the cause of death? Like, that just seems so backwards to me. No. Yeah, like, getting back to like the guys around him, surrounding him, I thought he looked like he was being held hostage. And K. Brooks said that you'd have to have everyone in his immediate circle in on it. Do you guys remember Assistant Duke Dapeng? Well, he was Human Law's manager before Duke Chang came along. Those two were close. And that's not alleged, that's actual facts. Well, Menlong's company replaced Dupont with Du Xiang. Now, I don't know how long he has been. I don't know how long he had been Human Law's manager, but I myself speculate that it was around the time Dupont was let go slash replaced, which hasn't been specified. I looked and researched, but nothing came up. Ah, if they don't have probable cause, they can only rule suicide if they don't have any other suspects. Or they got, oh, for sure, everybody thinks they got bought out. There were 17 suspects there that witnessed his murder that night or whatever happened to him that night. This case is very deep, but he went to a party that night, and there were 17 people there, and they all had seen him the night he, died. So, but according to Kay Brooks, even the police would have to be in on it, which is exactly what happened. They were all bought off, like, which makes perfect sense to me. And did you guys notice how every single location that was involved in this case was found out to be owned slash controlled by the few of the suspects in it? There are three locations I'm aware of: the Sunshine Shandong Residential Complex, two the 798 Museum, and three the Bulgari Hotel in Beijing. A lot of the suspects that were involved in this case were involved, either owned or lived or resided at those complexes that were said to be involved in his murder. Like Song Yiren and Ji Guangguang both lived in the apartment complex. Song Yiren doesn't live there anymore, but Ji Guangguang owns it. He still owns it, and that's the apartment that Yuman Long fell out of supposedly. And Shi Tao, who was the husband of Ji Guangguang, is most definitely connected to the 798 Museum exhibit with all those disturbing displays of humans. Like, Yeah, the ones with what look like real humans, real displays of human organs, preserved skin, and all of those shoes connected by red strings. The red strings for symbolizing fate. You can look it up. It's like weird. Like it's. Ugh. Now, I just want to inform you guys that there are museums out there like the 798 Museum that do have dead bodies displayed, but it's not to be disrespectful. It's at the request of the deceased family members. It's a way to keep them alive, so they might display artifacts from the deceased or, items. Those museums can be used for educational purposes or just contemporary art. But I gotta say, when I saw the photos from the 798 Museum, I found that some of the bodies weren't displayed. Displayed respectfully. It was weird and scared me. Like I'm not gonna just explain it on here because I might get kicked off. But you guys could look up the pictures. Like it was weird. It was just weird and crossed the line. Let's talk about those buildings that are involved in this. I did my own research on each of these buildings too. The Chihao Art Museum, aka the Red Brick Art Museum, which has been linked to the case and online rumors with alleged allegations that Yu Long was held captive in his basement or that his body was held there for plastination to cover up evidence. Excuse me. The museum's manager, Yang Shiji, and his architect, Ando Tudao, are listed among those allegedly involved by some sources. The museum and the adjacent Bulgari Hotel are reportedly state-owned enterprises, which some claim explains the high-level censorship surrounding the case. Now, I wanted to point out something about Yu Long to keep in mind about this case, right? He's an actor, and his company is owned by the government. It's a government-owned company. So keep that in mind when I'm telling about this case. So a lot of government officials are involved in this case. And it was said that Yu Long uncovered a plot, what's it called? Money laundering. He uncovered money laundering by the higher ups in the company, which are actually higher ups in the government because government it's government owned. Keep that in mind. So that explains the censorship. A lot of those higher ups in the government they can control the media. You know how China has heavy censorship laws. I'm in America, so we do have censorship, but like very minimal censorship, and our government doesn't control that much. But in China, they control everything. I'm gonna get into all of that. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Now let's talk about the Bulgari Hotel in Beijing. This hotel is located next to the Qihao Art Museum and is rumored to be connected by underground tunnels to the museum. It temporarily closed after the incident, which fueled speculation of evidence destruction. My own findings after I researched the 798 Museum and found all those pictures, I decided to do a search on one of those photos. And guys, what I found may in fact shock you. When I did an image search, I saw the Las Vegas Human Science Museum pop up. And all those photos that are connected to the Human Long case are on their website. I was kind of disappointed because I thought they were at the 798 Museum. Then I remembered that there was a piece of information going around that the 798 Museum moved those human exhibits to other museums. And it makes me wonder if Las Vegas was one of those locations. So what I did was I typed a letter to the LA Museum inquiring about some of those exhibits. We're going to see if they message me back, but I don't think they will. I could always call them and see. I really want to. Getting back to K. Brooks, he also mentioned how he believes that Police Chief Bebo is in on it, seeing as he controls the area where Human Long was found dead. He also mentioned how even now there's still no proper police report. There is a police report on Human Long jumping and supposedly self-exiting, but there is no actual police report of what happened that night. The investigation is still ongoing. He said that back in October. By the way, just saying. Physical and emotional torture. Allegations suggest he was subjected to various forms of physical abuse and emotional violation, including beating, humiliation, and threats. He reportedly feared for his life and lived on plain food, suspecting his food might be tainted. Now there was a couple of videos on his Weibo. Weibo. That's a weird word, Weibo. I showed him like, eating food or whatever, and it looked like it was literally like water and like I don't know what they eat in China. I'm sorry. It didn't look like soup. It just looked like water. He's boiling like potatoes and some stuff in it. Like it just did not look like it was meant to fill him. He, another. Hold on one second. Another thing for his abuse was forced activities. He was allegedly forced to attend gatherings against his will, where claims of him being forced to drink and being drugged have circulated. There was a guy, a waiter from the night that he went, the night before he was, murdered. He said he saw his bodyguard slipping something into his drink, right? And then the bodyguard, when he saw that he saw him, he pulled him to the side and had said something along the lines of, "If you say anything to him, you're dead." And it was said that the waiter said he quit then and there. I'm just like, oh my gosh, man. And you gotta remember, like in China, in terms of like weapons, you only the government is allowed to have weapons. The citizens don't have weapons. Like here in America, we could easily get a hold of a weapon if we wanted to. We could, go just granted we go through the right channels and the right, steps to get a weapon. But they can't do that over in China. Like it's just not something that people have. And it's like so unfortunate, like you can't do nothing against them. Next one was contractual exploitation. He was reportedly trapped in a slave-like contract that led to financial ruin with a manager, Du Xiang allegedly signing a secret contract that resulted in a massive debt he was forced to cover. Next one was suppression and blackout. Official censorship. His name was blocked out on social media platforms in China, and posts related to his case were deleted. Even though the official police report classified his death as an accidental fall after drinking, ruling out foul play, many fans and netizens doubted it because of so many irregularities in the case. I have a Weibo, right? And I can't even mention his name on it. Like I get questions, I can't even post a picture of him. Like it's so sad. Like the censorship, they really did censor the heck out of his name, bro. And they said that you can't even mention the name fish because you, menglong, the name yu stands for fish in Chinese, not Japanese. Chinese. It stands for fish or little fish, or something like that. So yeah, like I couldn't even. My account got banned twice. It got restricted twice. But I don't care. Like I'll still say his name, and every time I get unbanned, I just make another post for him. The next thing is silencing of family and witnesses. His family was reportedly silenced, and his mother lost contact after traveling to Beijing for funeral preparations, sparking fears she was also being suppressed by powerful forces. The next one was media blackout. Chinese state media maintained silence on the specifics of the case, and his name was reportedly restricted on major online networks in the country. Last one is the March 25th, 2021 incident. I know we are all probably have heard about this or seen it by now, but it was an incident where Yuman Long was walking the red carpet at either an event or award ceremony. But when he got up to the place where he was to get his picture taken, the light suddenly shut off on him. This the incident is widely circulated online and often cited by fans as a deliberate act of humiliation or warning by powerful figures in China's entertainment industry. In the context of the industry, turning off the lights during a celebrity's appearance is an alleged practice to signify that the person should not be exposed or promoted. I would hate to have to be under a government or yeah, government owned company in China, bro. Like no. And can I say that even if all of this is alleged, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Like you can see the bruises on him, you can see his whole countenance and personality change. Even if he doesn't say it, you can see he isn't happy, that his company wasn't feeding him a lot. His clothes looked poor. His apartment was much poorer than for an actor of his caliber. I mean, of course, some people are just naturally modest, but his place was just poor, and he was like a famous actor too. So, like, you could just see it. People don't have to say they're being tortured or abused. You can see it. Now, some side notes before we continue. If the building refused access to the surveillance footage, then that surveillance footage is as good as gone. Like, it's definitely deleted. The only evidence left from the Sunshine Shandong residence would be in the hands of the neighbors that happened to record what happened that night. It would be on their phones or devices. Now, what I would suggest to the people that do have evidence still, keep it hush hush. Like, back it up to multiple devices. Never give away the original copy. Also, try to get a copy of the evidence to Zhang Yusha. My source for that is actually a TikToker named Liana. Doing my own research, I found out that he is the first ranked vice chairman of China's Central Military Commission, making him the second most powerful military official after its chairman, President Xi Jinping. While he is the leading figure in the military, the ultimate authority lies with Xi Jinping. Now, more on Zhang Yusha states that he is associated with Shang-Shi faction, named for shared origins with other high-ranking officials, including Xi Jinping. Recent purges of rivals such as the Fujian faction led by He Weidong and Miao Hu have consolidated the Shang-Chi faction's control, giving Zhang Yusha significant power. Now, despite his, I'm sorry, I'm tired. Despite his official position and shared regional ties with Xi, there was ongoing speculation among Chinese observers about a potential power struggle or significant political tension between Zhang and Xi, with some reports even suggesting that military power has shifted away from Xi and towards Zhang in late 2025. Yeah, everything kind of blew up in his face after, like, menglong. And after it was found that he might be involved with that. Now, that being said, I want to tell you about the thought that I had. Now, I know Liana had said to reach out to Zhang Yusha, but I don't think we should. I watched Rotten Mango on YouTube, and she had said that you, had uncovered a money laundering to the arms industry through ghost companies in his name. What I found out, speculation online connects the alleged money laundering to the arms industry and the families of the top Chinese Communist Party officials, such as the brother of Xi Jinping and the son of Tsai Shi. Sounds to me like that has to do with the military, perhaps. Like, what if Zhang Yusha is behind it instead of Xi Jinping? I wouldn't trust either. Is my point. Like, just to reiterate what Rotten Mango said, like the ghost companies are connected to military. Arms, military arms, and Zhang Yusha is over the military. It's not just Xi Jinping; it's him too. So, me personally, I wouldn't trust any of them, either of them. So, what I would strongly suggest is that neighbors submit any evidence to Amnesty International and the FBI in America. And I added the FBI because they could confirm if those videos are circulating are real or not. I personally want an official stamp on those videos so they can stop being labeled as that alleged video. That's all I want. Next topic is his alleged girlfriend. I'm gonna take a break, a quick second to drink some water. So I'm like, you can hear my voice is going. My voice is dry. It's so dry. Okay, we're back. Next topic is his alleged girlfriend. What I found out about her wasn't much. Like, her name is Ken Shin. She's 30 years old. Looks like she's a small time actress. She only has 9 movies slash shows under her belt. Doesn't seem like she's very well known or famous. Like, I couldn't even find a social media for her. Like, I tried to look for it on Weibo. I think I found it. Like, does she have a Dove chocolate commercial by chance? Because that's the page I found with, I think it's with her. It has 27K followers. It looked kind of like her, but anyways, the rumor is that she's his alleged girlfriend. That's just rumors and hearsay, though. But from that one video I saw her hanging on, I think the rumors are true. Like, Yibin Long was a very private person, so there's no way he would tell anyone that he was dating. But Kan Shing was believed by fans and netizens to be a planted spy by his agency. It would make sense as to why she disappeared so quickly. She disappeared as quickly as she came into his life. She is like a nobody. She has no online presence, or excuse me, no online presence. She's just there. Like, but theories say that she was intentionally placed into his life to gather personal information about an alleged private investigation he was conducting, which probably is mentioning the USB drive. Like, how would they even know about that? Maybe the information was bad, but it's not as bad as people think it was. Because why would the company be stupid enough to let it slip that they're involved in money laundering? Hmm. Hmm. One more second. But fans recently noticed the latest social media post involving Shin and producer Chang Ching Song. I'm sorry if I'm messing up these names. Reports show that Chang had written about him and Can planning to go to a show and dinner the day right after Yu's death, but people noticed the post was deleted just hours later. That's suspicious to me. I can see the audio mixers like just shooting up. Am I loud? I'm sorry. I'm not a quiet person. Now, the next topic I really want to discuss, which I'm happy about, is his contract. This is official, too. He was signed with TNU Media, which has been notoriously known for, in my opinion, to have deaths in the company. Mysterious deaths. I'm going to get into those deaths later. They were also said to have slave like terms in their contracts. And wait till you hear what those terms are like. One, there's restrictive clauses. Hold on, let me adjust. Restrictive clauses, which includes a priority renewal clause that requires one, you in this case, to renew with TNU, even if other offers were significantly below market value. That's just what I found in terms of like the restrictive clauses. I'm gonna read some of the key clauses from the leaked contract. These are all from Articles 3 and 4. Even after the contract ends, Tiana retains the right to use the artist's name, image, voice, and biography for promotion indefinitely. Number three, the company also gains complete control of all the artist's social media accounts. All her profits permanently belong to Tianyu. Okay, I can understand the social media accounts. That kind of does make sense to me. But the profits permanently belonging to Tianyu, like I don't know how I feel about that one. But let's move along. Also, Tianyu has the right to monitor every single activity of the artist. Five, any hidden or misreported income results in a penalty of three times the highest monthly income. So he can't have no job on the side or something. I mean, without letting them know. I guess that makes sense. But like what I do in my free time should be my business, right? But whatever. I've never been under contract before, so I don't know. But it also say that the artist must obey every work arrangement, paid or unpaid. Oh heck no, you just lost me with that one. No, I ain't going out of nowhere if I'm not getting paid. I'm sorry. Like no. It's like paid or unpaid without question. Let's not forget seven, the revenue split. 70% goes to TNU Media, 30% goes to the artist. Like what? That is just so unfair. Like that's just not right. Like no. Last one was the punishment clause. A financial death sentence basically. If the artist terminates the contract or TU Media does so citing faults, the formula, the artist's highest monthly income times 12, times the years remaining on the contract, times the project compensation amount, and this total must be paid in full immediately. For Human Long, whose top monthly income was about 20,000 yuan, which equals 2,800, the calculation for the remaining 2 years combined with the project compensation clause soared to an unthinkable 200 million, which translates to 28 million US dollars. That's all reported by TNU Media's uh, ex-Brave female executive Chi Lili, who once worked at TNU. She was the one who leaked a copy of its terrifying contract before she was allegedly hunted down by the company for defending you. We haven't heard nothing from her since then. So far we have restricted clauses, high penalty fees, and severe control of the artist. There was also mentions of managerial misconduct. That was the one I mentioned before about Dugong. I don't know how accurate this next bit of information is, but I saw or read that his manager, Dugong, reportedly signed an advanced distribution contract worth over 2.5 million won behind Yu Menglong's back. And it forced the actor to cover the resulting debt, which also led to alleged abuse. Of course, that info is alleged, but just bits and pieces that I'm picking up along the way that have to pertain to this case. This is a lot of talking. Celebrities in China are treated a lot differently by their government than a celebrity in any other country. For comparison purposes, I'll make comparisons between American celebrities and Chinese celebrities. Now, I found quite a few comparisons actually, but I'll just summarize what I found. In China, actors are treated as a state asset, closely controlled by the Communist First Party, the CCP. Through strict censorship, I can't read, I'm sorry. Regulations on appearance, banning effeminate looks and tattoos, and mandates oh my god, to promote socialistic values and nationalistic themes. Dependent on showing loyalty, facing backlash, blacklisting, hefty fines for tax evasion, and suppression of toxic celebrity culture. Now, I can understand the hefty fines for tax evasion, but yeah, like everything else, it's like you're being forced to do that. Socialist values and nationalistic themes with careers dependent on showing loyalty. I wrote all this down. I have like this whole notebook. So I'm like reading off of what I wrote. I feel it was enough to fill a whole notebook. I'm not even lying. So we're going to be here for a little while. My first chat about human long was like an hour and 20 minutes, but I've definitely added a lot of more stuff to my research, so it's definitely gonna be longer than that. I hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, it's like uh, toxic celebrity culture if they deviate. That was where I left off. Embodying a system where art serves the state's ideology. In America, actors have one freedom over expression. Actors in the U.S. are protected by the First Amendment, allowing them to express political opinions, criticize the government, and choose roles without fear of government censorship or blacklisting. Two, minimal direct regulation. The government does not regulate the content of films or TV shows in the same way that China does. Content is generally rated by a civilian organization, the Motion Picture Association, which is the MPAA, and the government's role is mostly limited to enforcing standard labor laws, example child labor laws slash AI usage consent. Three, soft power influence. U.S. government agencies U.S. government agencies such as the military may collaborate with filmmakers to influence public opinion policy, but this is a form of soft power rather than mandatory regulation or censorship. Industry specific issues. Issues like AI usage, copyright, and the right of public publicity are matters of entertainment law and contract negotiations between actors, often through unions like SAG slash AFTRA, and private studios, not government imposed moral or political mandates. So you see the difference? One is forced, one is not. One's mandatory, the other one's not. Like, there's no freedom there. And of course, a lot of people want to be, they want more out of life, especially in, probably in China, where, let me think a little bit for a little bit here. I know in America, we do have rich and poor and like middle class, right? But in like, I feel like in China, now correct me if I'm wrong, they don't have a middle class. They just have like the rich and then the poor. And there's no way for the poor people to like, get rich unless they go to like, government agencies or whatever. Like they do like acting or police work or do different things, and by then they have to swear to the CCP. I did a little bit of research about that later in my report, but we're gonna get back to that later. So back to his contract. Another downside to his contract was that it could force him to miss opportunities to get signed with other companies. Yang Mi, who was in the leading role in Eternal Love, attempted to sign Newman Long to her own agency with a much better offer, example, a 50% profit split and guaranteed leading roles. But TA New Media used its priority renewal rights to block the move. So apparently, as soon as she tried to sign him, they allegedly invoked their priority renewal clause, which effectively bound him to the company. Like I had to do a little bit of bad math for this next part. LOL. If his original contract started in 2013 and it lasted for 8 years, it would have ended in 2021. It's 2025 when he passed. They probably would have tried to keep him for like another 4 years because he starred in Eternal Love in 2017, and the show had 3 seasons. It aired from 2017 to 2021. He should have been free from his contract by then. And he would have been free to have him. He would have been free to sign up with the Yang Mi's company. Actually, in reality, she wasn't the only one that wanted to sign him. Like multiple parties wanted to sign him, but his agency refused. A very famous Taiwanese host, rumored to be Tao Jingying, reportedly attempted to sign him, but the effort was not successful. Yang Mi's team was said to have visited Beijing 3 times in an attempt to recruit Yang Malong into her company. I read that she had the first to she had offered to buy out his contract, but the priority renewal clause stopped her. It's 2026 now. I've been through a lot of K-pop groups and learned about contract lengths along the way. Actor contracts are said to be different in terms of length of the contract. Excuse me. I recently found out something interesting. K-pop idol contracts differ significantly from Chinese actor contracts. Like K-pop often features long-term, highly restrictive 7-year or longer deals with training debut repayment, while Chinese actor contracts tend to be more project-based or shorter term, focusing on specific drama/film roles, though both can be influenced by company power and local regulations, with Chinese deals sometimes seeing longer exclusive commitments, 10 plus years, but less focus on the training repayment. Some major stars or specific agencies might sign artists for 10 plus years of exclusivity, but this is less tied to training debut, or less tied to training debt. I've also noticed that the minimum is 5 years for K-pop idols, but some are 7 to 10 years. Like I personally feel like those longer contracts are given to the younger trainees, and it makes sense. Like they're younger, they need more time to start up their career, or whatever, more time to pay back their debts. So the longer contracts make more sense to me in terms of like K-pop idols. Okay, so to finish addressing Human Law's contract, we know that it lasted for a span of 8 years. It started in 2013 and it was set to end in 2021. TNA Media then invoked their priority renewal clause. I asked Google how long of an extension would TNU Media renewal clause provide. It said that for artist Yuming Long, who was subject to this clause, the company reportedly used it to schedule his work and effectively bind him at least through 2023, despite more favorable offers. So, really, the duration of this extension appears to have been at the company's discretion. So, they could keep him for as long as they really wanted to. I'm sorry, guys, the contract length for his original contract keeps changing. Like, first I found 8 years, then 10, now it says 12. Like, which one is it? If it is 12 years, then that means it would have expired in 2025. Because death could have been a way for them to clean up loose ends. Sorry, tie up loose ends. Just a thought. We are an hour in, and we are not even halfway done. Yeah, there's a lot to go with this case. So, the next topic is interviews and statements from the residents and Sunshine Shandong residential complex. I'm actually a bit excited to talk about this next part. During the morning when they had found Yumin Long, there was an older woman that had spoken to a reporter, and what she said kind of shocked me. What she said was she saw the paparazzi man post online stating that the police had ruled out criminal activity, but the specific cause of death was still under investigation. I did just say that just before, but I want to put it in again because it's under interviews and statements. And like I was saying before, you know what that means? It means that the cops released the info to the press without even knowing what happened to him. And let me clarify more. How would they know that nothing criminal happened if they don't even know how he died? Like, for example, it'd be like someone finding a dead body right in a field, calling the cops, and then when the cops come, they see that there's no blood around. And they determine no criminal activity. But when they do an autopsy, they see that the body has, puncture wounds. The cops shouldn't have ruled out criminal activity without knowing the cause of death. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm wording that correctly, but I just feel like someone told/ordered the police to say criminal activity has been ruled out to cover for the people involved. No, not all day stream, just another hour. And I'm gonna go to TikTok because unfortunately this um stream doesn't allow me to post to TikTok either. I can only do like Twitch and YouTube, but it's okay. That would be nice, the all day stream though, but that's a lot of talking. I'd rather do like all day streams for like game playing, because that I can do. But and let me point out that that lady had said that well before anyone could possibly threaten her. And she had said that she had said that while the cops were still looking into it, like about an hour in. The woman also said she had noticed a bunch of cops inside the apartment, the unit that Yuman Long had supposedly jumped out of. She could see the cops from the window as she stood below. She noticed that they were moving around a lot, like they were trying to reenact what they thought could have happened to Menglong. It's as if they were trying to simulate a motion, like what was the most plausible motion and what could have happened. Like they were stumped. Like they were very puzzled. Like I had explained how a lot of residents have recorded videos of them showing their windows and how incredibly hard it would be for someone to accidentally fall out. There was metal mesh on all of their windows. Like you would need a knife to cut it. Okay, when yes, some games would make it fly by. I can't wait to play those serious games though. I can't wait to play Roblox. I also can't wait to play. I really want to play Minecraft and Fortnite because those games look so cool. But I would actually need to invest in a PC first, like, because my little computer, like, she's great, but she just doesn't have that much, storage. That's why I'm sticking to those little games until I save up enough money to buy a good PC. And then I would. There's only two things I need on my list, my wish list for a gamer. There's two, one PC, two monitors because I want two monitors, and then the next one would be like the gamer chair, and then that's it. That'd be the ideal setup for me because I already have the nice keyboard. I already have the Logitech cam. I got the headset and the wireless keyboard and mouse. But that's would make my setup very nice and definitely a more comfortable chair because like this chair right now that I have is not so comfortable for sitting for long periods of time. Not to complain, but Now, in terms of the metal mesh that I said you'd have to cut, I just want to recount a story when I was little. Like I remember not many buildings in America have metal mesh. But I remember back when I was younger, like I was a kid in elementary school, we had our school had metal mesh on the windows. All of them did. And you could punch that stuff and it just would not break or nothing. Like you would definitely need a knife or something to cut it. Like it's just not easy. And it's a safety thing. Like you're not getting through it unless you're really trying. Even a full force kick might not even do it. Now, in a separate interview, a woman who lives there stated, "Even if I have a friend and he was drunk, I wouldn't worry about him falling because the window is high enough, the screen is strong enough." That just tells you, like, yeah, this screen you're not gonna get through it. The next topic is Golden Rooster Awards. Now, this one I really love this. What happened at the Golden Rooster Awards? Netizens. I did see a post about netizens flooding the Golden Rooster Awards with questions about Yumin Long. I just love that for them. Like they flooded the live stream comment sections of the 38th China Golden Rooster Awards with messages demanding answers and justice for the late actor Yumin Long. This happened in November of 2025. Key questions and demands like demands for the release of audio from the 17 people reportedly present at the gathering, and why a deregistered studio issued a statement instead of the police or his family, and inquiries into the identities of everyone involved flooded the comment sections. Because remember, guys, that list is still private. The people that were there that night is private, but it still got leaked somehow. Because a lot of people, like, they let it go. A lot of people that were said to be there let it, like, slip on their social media that they're going to a party that night. So, and some people wrote, and I quote, "I'm not watching anything. And you has become an obsession. We can't let this go." Another person wrote, "Forget the films. Show us the surveillance footage." One person wrote, "We want the CCTV videos." Another said, "Return the truth to us." And one comment said, "Give us back human long." My personal favorite was a comment saying, "You ban entertainment? Fine, we ban entertainment too. Bring us justice." One viewer shared a moment from the post office. "I used to be the only one mailing letters. Today there was a pile of registered mail in front of the clerk. I think more and more people are joining this movement." Yes, I think that's great, but in terms of the Golden Rooster comments, it got so bad that they had to turn off the comments. LOL. Now, according to netizens in China, netizens is just another word for people. That's like the Chinese word for people. So, according to the people in China, this isn't the first time people have done this. Whenever there's a live broadcast anywhere in the country, the bullet screens light up with one name. That name is Human Long. His absence echoes louder than any celebration. We're going to force them to reopen the case. Now, this is me saying this. Like, I don't care if the time window is closed for investigation. We could still have a case reopened. It's shady to me that that's even a thing. Like, Human Long's case can be closed, but it should still be able to be reopened if new evidence begins to surface. Like, his case can become cold, but it's not over until his cause of death has been found out. I know a good way to get answers though. Y'all might not like it, but what I'm about to say, but like, it would have to involve getting Xi Jinping out of office. If he is in fact involved, that is, I reach out to Xi Jinping and ask him for clarity on Human Long's case. If he's not involved, you know. From what I've heard, well, at least here in America, I've heard that Xi Jinping might be involved. This leads me into my next topic, which is the CCP and how they can be taken down. And this is a very sensitive topic, so I'm just going to be very, respectful in how I present it, as respectful as I can muster. Bubba, what games do you play? You tell me and I can join you. Uh, the CCP stands for the Communist Party of China, or the Chinese Communist Party. They are currently the founding and ruling party of the People's Republic of China. Founded in 1921, the CCP won the Chinese Civil War against the Kuomintang and proclaimed the establishment of the PRC under the chairmanship of Mao Zedong in October 1949. The CCP has since governed China and has had sole control over the country's armed forces and law enforcement. As of 2024, the CCP has more than 100 million members, making it the largest political party by membership in the world. Right, because the CCP, it works off of membership. Like, you have to sign up to be part of the CCP. But in America, you just, like, with different parties, you're in a party. You don't have to sign up, you know. You can just be in that party. I wanted to know the pros and cons of communism. So here they are, the pros and cons of communism. So, you got to be fair. Got to give both sides. Let me just say there was more cons than pros, obviously. So the pros are social equality. In theory, communism aims to eliminate social classes, exploitation, and poverty, supposedly, by ensuring everyone has equal access to basic needs like food, education, and healthcare. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Second one is guaranteed employment. Oh, that sounds nice too. The government owned the government owns and controls the means of employment for all citizens, virtually eliminating unemployment. Right, let me read that again because the government owns and controls the means of employment for all citizens virtually eliminating unemployment. How is that possible? What? I don't get that. If you want somebody wants to explain it to me, that'd be great. The guaranteed employment through the government. Like I just don't understand that. The third one is cooperation over competition. The system encourages cooperation among citizens for the common good rather than competition. I would have a bunch of action and adventure survival games. Ooh, I do like action games. If I was to play horror games, like I really like those jump scare games because I love horror. I really want to try FNAF, Out of Sight, and then Little Nightmares, and then what's that other one? Inside. Oh my gosh, I really want to try those games, but those are more of a PC game, so I'd have to wait. I'm very limited in the games I can play because of my system right now. She's nice, but I just want to upgrade at some point, and I can really get to going. So cooperation over competition. The system encourages cooperation among citizens for the common good, rather than competition, which theoretically reduces social disharmony and crime rates. I'm okay. I'm sorry, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Can y'all please explain that to me too? Like, I just don't understand it. Last pro that I found was efficient resource distribution. Distribution. In theory, centralized planning allows for the state to rapidly mobilize resources to meet critical social goals and needs, especially in times of crisis, as it overrides individual self interest for the collective welfare. Okay, that sounds normal. Okay, now on to the cons of communism. And like I said, there is a lot. That's sad when the cons outweigh the pros. That should tell you something. Well, let's get on with it. Lack of individual freedoms. A significant criticism is that the system often leads to a loss of personal liberties, including freedom of expression, religion, and the right to own private property, like land, houses/apartments. They can't even buy land in other countries, USA to be specific. So they can't own, I think houses and apartments they can own. I got to redo some research on that part. See. So the next one was economic inefficiency and shortage. Shortages. Without a free market and the price signals of supply and demand, central planners struggle to gather accurate, up-to-date information on consumer needs, leading to frequent shortages of consumer goods, long lines, and surpluses of other unwanted products. So, economic inefficiency and shortages. Without a free market and the price signals of supply. Huh. The next point was lack of innovation and motivation. The absence of competition and personal profit motives can stifle innovation and individual initiative. Workers may lack the incentive to work harder or smarter if everyone is paid the same, regardless of effort. Yes, I can totally see that. I have never had that problem though. Like, I wonder. It kind of makes me wonder, like, is everybody paid the same wage in China? Like, is everybody paid like 16 an hour? Is there no different pay grades? I'll have to look that up because I don't even know. You've never tried Little Nightmares? I have watched the full walkthroughs on YouTube in my boredom time, my spare time. I love watching walkthroughs. I will definitely watch those. I'm actually looking up is everyone paid the same amount in China right now because like I'm just curious. Okay, the short answer is no. Okay, that's the game I would really love to play is Little Nightmares, but I don't know if I can stomach it. It looks kind of messed up. Okay, authoritarianism and tyranny. Historically, attempts to implement communism have often resulted in one party authoritarian regimes that use repression, censorship, and force to maintain control, leading to a significant devaluation of human life and liberty. The next one was poor standards of living. While income inequality may be low, the overall standard of living is often also low, with citizens having limited choices and poor quality housing and goods. Thanks for staying, Bubba. It means a lot to me. Now, I did watch the full lore on FNAF, man. Oh, there was a guy he legit had a 24-hour video, and I watched the whole thing. It took me at least a good week, though. But I sat through the whole thing and watched it. There was so much lore because there's so many side games too. And did you know that they came up with the FNAF movies this year? Not this year, but one was last year and one was, I think, the year before that. I haven't seen the second movie. I really want to. But yeah, I really want to see them. Then I watched the lore on Poppy Playtime. Yes, that's another one I sat through. I watched all the walkthroughs, Poppy Playtime. So the authoritarianism and tyranny. I'll need to read that again. Like historically, attempts to implement communism have often resulted in one-party authoritarian regimes that use repression, censorship, and force to maintain control, leading to a significant devaluation of human life and liberty. Yeah, that's the main one that I've known communism to be known for. Tyranny and authoritarianism, which is not good. Next one was poor standards of living. While income inequality may be low, the overall standard of living is often also low, with citizens having limited choices and poor quality housing and goods. And also mass casualties. Historical estimates from the 20th century suggest that communist regimes have been responsible for a significant number of deaths, often through man-made famines, forced labor camps, and political purges. Man-made famines? Oh, I would love Poppy Playtime to have a movie. Oh, it's gotta have mommy long legs in there. She's like my favorite creep monster. And what's the pink fuzzy wuzzy? I know there's Huggy Wuggy, and then there's the pink one. What was her name? Do you remember her name? So mass casualties go to continue. So that is a good and a bad concerning communism. At least that's what I found online. Now the good news with the CCP is not everyone has to join the CCP. Well, that's what it says on paper. I'm sorry if you heard that. If you could hear something in the background, I'm like right next to my window. This is where I get the most light, and it's right next to the window. I'm gonna eat some nice ice cream after this. I can't wait. I'm getting so excited. I think it's pecan something. Yeah, Mommy Long Legs was the pink one with the, but there was a girl version of Huggy Wuggy, and she's Missy. Yes, Kissy Missy. Yay! Yes, Kissy Missy. Oh, I love her. I definitely want her in there. She seems so good. There's gonna be a Poppy Playtime 5 though, isn't there? I thought it came out recently, or the demo for it came out. See, all I can do is live vicariously through other people until I get my PC. I can't wait. Hey, we've been doing this for an hour and 27 minutes. This is great. I still got a lot left to talk about. I'm happy that my research is like coming up to more than an hour because I really wanted it to be like a long, report so I could, have something to talk about for a long while. So I did a lot of research. I do plan to add more to it as soon as I find more things to talk about. But for now, I think I've done enough research. I know I have because like my hands started to hurt while I was writing all this down. Yes, but Kissy Missy and Speed Run. Yep. Oh yes. China's government functions as a centralized state where the Communist Party exercises total control, directing policy and administration through state institutions, making it an authoritarian, single party system. While the Constitution describes it as a people's democratic dictatorship, its system. Sorry, yeah, it's China's Constitution describes it as a people's democratic dictatorship. So yes, I might sound stupid by saying this, but I thought only the U.S. had a constitution. I thought that was only for like Americans. I didn't know that China had a constitution too, or is that like term universal? See, we're here to learn. Okay, so its system operates under lenient principles, with the CCP directing the state apparatus, including the legislature, National People's Congress, and the state council, basically. So it's just the CCP has control over the government, basically. I'm going to list a few key characteristics that I found. The one party rule. The one party rule is the CPC. The populace directs all state organs from the military to the courts, ensuring party supremacy. The party state structure, which is the party and government hierarchies are intertwined, with party officials holding key positions and precedence over government ranks. After I read that, I had a question. What is the difference between party rank and government in China? Because what it said was, you know, because it said party rank is over the government or something like that. In China, in China's party state system, the CCP holds the ultimate power, with party ranks superseding government rank, meaning party leaders control policy while government bodies implement it, which is kind of interesting and different to me because America runs a lot different. So basically, from what I'm saying, is the party decides policy, controls personnel, and provides overall leadership. And the government implements policy and administers the state, and it administers it to the state. Oh, I cannot speak. Makes sense to me, but the only thing. missing would be the people's wants and feedback. They don't have any say in anything that happens in their country. Like with America, we can vote in, we can weigh in on certain issues and stuff. But with China, they can't do none of that. The people are just there to drive the wheel. But they have to be quiet. They can't say nothing. They can't have no opinions. They can't talk badly about the CCP. I know I seem a little biased, maybe because I am, but you know, it just communism doesn't work for the people. If you're government, it works for you. If you're government. Wouldn't that kind of be like, say, for example, you go into work and you see that your boss had a new way of doing things because in his mind, he thinks it'll work out better. Like, he thinks it'll work out better that way, but he doesn't consult with his employees to see if his idea would in fact work. And because he didn't ask their opinion, his idea crashes and burns. Yeah. Yeah, I think your party rank is your status in society or politics. Yeah. Ooh, not me accidentally, like, almost hitting the X button. Oh my goodness, it would have shut down the whole V Live. Ah, let me move this mouse away from me. Right, because in China, the party rank is over the government rank. And I was like, what's the difference between the party rank and the government? Because in America, isn't it like all that things, those things are like two and one? Like, we don't put much weight on the party. Like, our party, isn't the party like, Republican, Democrat, middle, or something like that? But it's different for, like, America. That's what I was trying to figure out with the research with the CCP. Now, getting back to people who don't support the CCP. Like I said before, not everyone has to sign with the CCP. That is good. But if you choose to not sign with them, just make sure you don't oppose them publicly. You can't express your opinions on them openly. Oh, that makes sense, I guess. Now, what happens to the people who publicly oppose the CCP? One, arbitrary arrest and detention. Authorities frequently detain individuals who often speak out, slash often on vaguely worded charges such as subversion of state power or picking quarrels and provoking trouble. Detainees are often held in secret locations without access to lawyers or communications with their families. Now, that would explain the rumor of Yun Long being held captive for a few months in a secret location because he wasn't cooperating with them because we didn't want to go through with like being a part of a money laundering scheme. Number two is imprisonment and torture. Punishments can include long prison sentences. There are widespread reports of torture slash forced labor and other abuses occurring in detention facilities and re-education camps, particularly targeting religious or ethnic minorities like Uyghurs and Falun Gong practices. Now, do you guys think that they try to target monks? Because they are very religious. Because remember Xing Jinping, aka Qing Fang? He was a Shaolin monk before he became a celebrity. Actually, I've always wondered why he decided to be a celebrity. He was a 34th generation monk, guys. It says he became a celebrity due to his exceptional kung fu skills, his charismatic presence, and good looks. Yes, he was handsome. And strategic use of social media to promote Shaolin culture. That's what I found. But he was a top dog or whatever. And Now, number three, getting back to it, what happens to the people who publicly oppose the CCP? Loss of freedoms. Convicted individuals may face the deprivation of political rights, which severely limits their ability to travel, find employment, or obtain accommodation after release. Oh, that's difficult. Well, that's felons everywhere, though. But that's unfortunate if you're a felon because you depose your government party. It's kind of like a if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all type thing. It's a good way to shut people up. Now, the impact on family members, close family members of high profile activists might also be subject to surveillance, harassment, loss of employment, or restrictions on their children's education as a form of collective punishment. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Like if I were to speak out against them, if I lived in China and I spoke out against them, they would punish my family too. Like why? That's stupid to me. You're gonna punish someone else for the actions of another person. That's just messed up, ain't it? And can I still point out that even if you don't choose to speak out, like you are still being censored. It's still having freedom of speech taken away. They try to make it sound like it's not that bad. Like this is why, in my opinion, it's important to have a say in how your country is governed. Now, I had a few questions about the CCP that I asked the internet. Obviously, the internet is it took its answers from different sources on Google. So, can the CCP be brought down? Well, legally and constitutionally, the idea of removing the CCP from power in China is nearly unthinkable. The CCP's constitution, yes, I'm going to call it that, is explicitly established the Communist Party's leading role, meaning its replacement by another party is not envisioned in the current legal framework. The military swears loyalty to the party, not the state, making any change to CCP's rule extremely difficult. But I'm sure even Maduro thought he'd rule over Venezuela forever too. But look where he is. Sorry, not sorry. If the right person comes in, they can easily take that down. Like, and how many people are in the CCP party? How many? That'd be a very big takedown. Let me stop. Well, we are talking about taking them down if it need be. I mean, they don't just have Maduro over there. They do have Xi Jinping, yes, but like it has to be like a lot more. There's a bunch of party members. So it says China has over 100 million Communist Party members, the core of its political system. There's another question for that one. I'm going to get to that one later. I'm getting ahead of myself. So basically, the military swears loyalty to the party, not the state, making any change to the CCP's rule extremely difficult. Next question. What if the Chinese military turned against the CCP? Now, this is a very sensitive question, I know, so I'll be as respectful with this answer, which I found online. It would likely result in a violent internal conflict, potential military dictatorship, maybe, maybe not. or severe political and economic chaos with profound global consequences. This scenario is highly speculative due to the deep integration of the PLA within the CCP's control structure. Key potential outcomes and consequences are civil conflict, military dictatorship, political vacuum slash collapse, foreign intervention concerns, not to mention economic and global impact, global economic shock, loss of international standing, and geopolitical standing slash instability. Well, of course, these scenarios are highly unlikely because the PLA, which stands for the People's Liberation Army, is fundamentally a party, not as a party army. Can you hear anything in the background? Just let me know. Yeah, so the PLA is fundamentally a party army, not a state army, and its structure is designed to prevent such a scenario. But of course, as we all know, one weak link can bring down the chain of a mighty dynasty. All you need is one person to inspire others to see the path of change. Now, let's move on to my next topic, potential scenarios for change. Despite the current consolidation of power by Xi Jinping, particularly through anti-corruption campaigns and purges, analysts and historical perspectives point to several potential, though not necessarily probable scenarios for a major shift or collapse. One, an internal coup. This is considered one of the more likely scenarios by some analysts. Discontent among powerful party cadres, especially if the economy stagnates and personal wealth is threatened, could lead to an internal power struggle or a coup. Now, I want to quickly add in a thought. I don't want to toot America's horn, but you guys remember recently Trump freed Venezuela? Congratulations to Venezuela. I'm so happy for them. Well, Venezuela houses the world's largest proven oil reserves. Well, China was a major buyer of Venezuelan oil under dictator Maduro. Yes, I said dictator, forming a crucial lifeline economically for his government, especially amid U.S. sanctions. With oil flowing often through complex, non-transparent deals to disguise its origin and pay back massive Chinese loans. This partnership, established under Chavez and deepened by Maduro, made China Venezuela's dominant customer, purchasing over half its crude exports in recent years for infrastructure financing and strategic influence, despite failing or falling production levels. Key aspect for oil trade: debt for oil swaps. China provided substantial loans for infrastructure, which Venezuela repaid with oil shipments, creating a symbiotic but debt-laden relationship. Major buyer: China became Venezuela's largest customer, taking the vast majority of its oil exports, with figures often exceeding 50%. There were the sanctions circumvention. Hold on, I'm dying. Nah, I need some water, bro. I can't do it. This is the most my vocal cords have been used at one time. I got some juice. Oh, that's better. Oh, okay, that feels a lot better. Okay, sanctions circumvention. Shipments were often disguised through ship to ship transfers or third countries, like Malaysia, to bypass U.S. sanctions. Strategic importance. The deal gave Beijing significant regional influence and provided Maduro's government with vital revenue and political support. Non transparent deals. Many transactions involved secret contracts with Chinese companies by passing traditional markets. In the context of recent events, 2026, following a recent U.S. military operation to seize Maduro, the future of these oil flows became uncertain. And of course, China heavily criticized U.S. actions, viewing them as an attempt to weaponize oil and disrupt its strategic interests in Latin America. No, America just understands why this oil can't fall into bad people's hands. That's all these dictator countries are doing, keeping each other in power, greasing each other's hands, and rubbing each other's backs. Because if they don't, who else will? Like the rest of the world won't play along, like except Democrats and liberals, maybe. Well, most of them. I'm sorry. It seems like a lot of them are though. Like some of them are starting to wake up though. Thank God. Like communism and socialism controls the government, military, and the people. Since when is that good? Like you can't convince me otherwise. Like if the government has nobody to answer to, that's very dangerous. And the people that want control over everything and everyone usually are the ones that are doing dirty deals in the dark. What is this? I have a movie playing and it's just playing a random movie. Like, what is this? Oh, Hellraiser. Hey, have you ever seen the movie Hellraiser? I've never seen it. Ew, it looks weird. I had it playing Carrie at first. I love that movie. The original movie, not the newer ones. The newer ones aren't not my cup of tea. Oh, they have so many Hellraiser movies though. Sorry, tangent over. The next one was economic crisis. The CCP's legitimate the CCP's legitimacy largely rests on its ability to deliver continued economic growth and improve living standards. Major and prolonged economic distress, such as a property market collapse or demographic decline, could fuel widespread discontent and potentially trigger a crisis. Like with America taking over Venezuelan oil temporarily. I know the whole world thinks we just did it because we want. I know the world thinks Trump did it just because, for selfish reasons, but no. Like, just no. There was mass public unrest. That's another one. While mass protests are dangerous in China, the A4 protests in 2022, sparked by the strict COVID lockdowns, demonstrated that public anger can lead to rare, direct challenges to the ruling party. If unrest became widespread and paralyzing enough, some within the party of military might be prompted to act. That sounds good. And lastly, a disastrous war. A failed or bogged down military conflict, such as an invasion of Taiwan involving confrontation with the US and its allies, could crash the Chinese economy, and seriously threaten the CCP's rule. Really, US, you mentioned US so much over here. In here, do we have that much power over China? Like I know we're like the number one world power, but it was said that China was number two, and then Russia was number three, isn't it? I don't know. Well, historically, no ruling power lasts forever. Chinese history shows multiple regime changes And some within China believe the same could happen to the CCP if the people become sufficiently dissatisfied. And with the loss of oil, China depends heavily on the oil. That was 50% of their income or whatever. That could really hurt. Okay, well, however, I will say this for the CCP. They are a modern and highly adaptable and pervasive surveillance state, making it fundamentally different from previous dynasties. And that's it for the CCP. So, the next topic is what human Long uncovered that ultimately led to his death. It was said for one that he uncovered one money laundering. I know I mentioned that earlier. So he had gathered evidence that linked high-level entertainment companies and individuals to a massive transnational money laundering operation, potentially worth billions of yuan and connected to senior Chinese Communist Party officials. Two, illegal arms trading. His personal studies, his personal studios were allegedly used as shell companies to facilitate illegal arms trade slash trading. Corporate records showed his name was used to register trademarks under categories for military arms, explosives, and gunpowder, which is highly unusual for an actor. Fireworks and firecrackers were included in that. Yumin Long reportedly tried to use this evidence to break free from his contract and expose the network, which many believe led to his death. The official police report classified his death as an accidental fall, but this conclusion has been widely disputed by the public and international hackers groups who claim a major cover-up by powerful entities. And so that's what that explains what was on the USB. My B had a phone call. Okay, it's okay. You good? You good? Thanks for coming back. That means a lot to me. It does. Okay, the next topic is Tianyu Media's other mysterious deaths. Yeah, we definitely need to cover this topic. The company has 9 other mysterious deaths. These artists are said to have died under mysterious circumstances, and these deaths date back as far as 2006. So the first one up is singer Tang Tan Beishi, aka Bebe. Bebe. He died in 2006 in a so-called or unusual car accident. The key reasons the death is considered suspicious are: 1. Unusual description. The death was officially labeled as an unusual car accident rather than a standard one, a description which raised immediate questions among the public and the media. Like, can you see that in an official police report? Just be like, he died in an unusual car accident. Like, what does that even mean? At 2, lack of transparency slash official explanation. As with several other deaths linked to the agency, a clear, widely accepted official explanation or transparent investigation details were not provided to the public, fueling rumors and mistrust. The next one was actor Shang Yubo. Shang Yubo. I know it sounds like Yibo, but it's Yubo. And he died in 2011. His death was considered unusual because he reportedly wandered on the rooftop of a high rise for 3 hours before falling or jumping to his death. Other unusual circumstances include public display. The prolonged period of wandering on the rooftop made his death a public spectacle. The next one was agency link. His death is also linked to a series of other mysterious deaths or unusual circumstances involving artists signed to the same agency, Tianyu Media, aka EE Media. Industry speculation was the next. The reoccurrence of unusual deaths among artists from this specific agency, including falls from buildings and suicides, has fueled debates about the extreme pressure slash lack of transparency and potentially dark underlying issues within the Chinese entertainment industry. The speculation, particularly prominent following Yuman Long's recent death, suggests the deaths may not be mere coincidence. So yeah, can you imagine if A company that has actors or actresses or idols, they have like people dying in their company. Exactly. In order to cover it up or not really explaining for the cause of the accident. Exactly. Now the third one is Beyonce. Died in 2015. Now he died after falling from a building in Tianjin. He was a TV host. Authorities concluded that Bian, who had methamphetamine and amphetamine, I think I'm saying those words right, in his blood, died from falling from his eighth floor residence and ruled out a homicide. Now, I did my own research on this next one. It says that those two drugs are considered rich kids' party drugs. Those drugs are used in developed regions like the Pearl River Delta, the Yangtze River Delta, and Beijing Tianjin Hebei urban agglomeration. That's a mouthful. I'm sorry. Which are areas with high internet internal migration. And you can guess what my next question was. Who in the human loss case is connected to the economically developed regions like the Pearl, Yangtze, etc., etc.? Guess what the answer was? His manager, Du Xiang. Because it was said that human long was found with, like, drugs in the system, heavy tranquilizing drugs. Sleepy time should come. Just kidding, no. I'm gonna make some nachos after this. I should have ice cream. Which one would you do, Bubba? Which one should I do? Ice cream or nachos? I could go either way. Keep in mind, my ice cream is pecan something or another. Let me go look. Now I'm getting hungry. Ah, butter pecan. There, that's what it's called. Butter pecan. So yeah, his manager Dushang was is connected to those regions that. Oh my goodness, nacho style ice cream. I could. That just says you want me to do both. Both it is. Amen. Okay. Ah, nacho style ice cream. Yes, I could totally see that. I know where you're going with that. Like ice chips or for the nachos part, ice cream for the meat part. The sour cream would be like whipped cream. Yes, that would be so nice. But I don't have enough ingredients for all of that. I just have the ice cream part. So, his manager. Okay, let's get on to Xiao Renliang. He died in 2016. Was a singer slash actor. He was found dead in his apartment. Shanghai police and his management agency concluded that Xiao died by self exit at his home, a result of severe depression from a heavy workload and cyberbullying. I think it's a perfectly reasonable explanation. But the public rumors coming from China were saying that there was extreme violence surrounding his death. Some rumors claimed that he had been tortured to death and even taken apart. Oh, I should have, yeah, taken apart. That's the nice word of what, of the D word. So I think I'm safe with that one. So yeah, he was taken apart. The rumors also linked his death to powerful figures or occult practices within the entertainment industry. And of course, the brutality described in these rumors and the lack of formal publicly detailed investigation beyond the initial police report fueled speculation of a cover-up. Not to mention a statue was found at the 798 Museum of Art, was said to closely resemble him. Warning: weird things about his body at the funeral. This next one is a very, sensitive topic. So if you're shy or you don't want to hear that, go ahead and click off. Witnesses at his funeral reportedly noticed that alterations to his body included a reconstructed head and an abdomen supported by a plastic casing. Some reports also claim his body had parts missing before being publicly presented. The next guy was Ben Shi, was a Chinese singer-songwriter also from Xinjiang, died December 27, 2016. Official reports said oh, she, yeah, that's right, it's a she, said she had died by jumping off a tall building because of depression. But of course, there were rumors saying it wasn't self-exit. There wasn't any surveillance footage released, and there was no autopsy reports. Also, like the other cases I mentioned, her case was heavily censored by the government. Posts questioning the official narrative were removed, and her name couldn't be mentioned. She wrote a song called Pink Gun. It was said that she was forced to witness Ren Liang's murder, and she wasn't handling it well. She then wrote the song Pink Gun. The song was said to have recounted events of that devastating of the dev, mm, events of that devastating event. I took a look at the lyrics. It's very unnerving. Sent chills down my spine. Well, she died not too long after that. Jiao Ren was the next one. Was a Chinese actress. She died on October 16th, 2017. Dang, so many people so close. Like every year almost. It's so sad. She was found deceased after falling from the 13th floor of a Suzhou hotel. The strangest thing about her case was that she was found in her birthday suit. There was CCTV footage actually. It showed her checking in with actor Yang Shuwen, who was later cleared. Me personally, I'm still suspicious of that person, Yang Shuwen. So apparently, lawyers and the public raised questions. Her body showed little trauma, and her posture seemed inconsistent with a fall. And of course, it was said that powerful entertainment execs were involved. Now, in all these cases, witnesses said that the victims were seen with higher ups or people from the company the night before, right before their death, man. The next one is Lu Jiayong. Now, her case, there is no death date because she just disappeared right after she made a public post. She talked about entertainment career. She talked about the entertainment career was taking a toll on her mental health. Then that was it. Her disappearance remained unsolved. No date, no update, no closure. So she's just gone. The last one was Sai Shang. Sai Chong. I don't know how to say their names. I'm sorry. Was a singer. He passed away in 2020. There wasn't any explanation behind his death. It was labeled as sudden passing. Sudden passing. They totally left us hanging. No official cause of death, no immediate or official explanation provided to the public. His death definitely fits into a pattern with the company, like of young artists dying under suspicious or unexplainable circumstances, often officially ruled out as an accident, self-exit, or sudden death. And then, of course, we have Human Long recently. Now, the next topics that I'm so happy to get on to. What can Amnesty International do to help? This is the last topic, or not, no, not the last, second to last. I saved this for the last. We're getting there. Amnesty International can help Human Long by investigating the circumstances of his death, exposing potential human rights violations by publishing findings, mobilizing global public pressure through campaigns, petitions, social media, and advocating directly to the Chinese authorities to demand accountability, justice, and a transparent investigation into his case, aligning with their core mission to defend those denied justice, freedom, and truth. Here's a breakdown of actions they can take. 1. Research and documentation. conduct in-depth investigations into his death, gathering evidence and verifying reports similar to their work on other human rights abuses in China. 2. Public awareness campaigns. Launch global campaigns/petitions, social media drives to highlight Human Long's case, putting public pressure on Chinese authorities. 3. Advocacy. Directly lobby the Chinese government and international bodies like the UN to push for a transparent investigation and justice for him. 4. Support grassroots efforts, which is amplify the voices of Chinese netizens and diaspora groups already demanding answers, providing resources or a larger platform. 5. Policy change. Use the, use the case to advocate for broader human rights reforms in China, focusing on freedom of expression and accountability for state actions. By using their established methods of investigation, exposure, and mobilization, Amnesty International can bring international scrutiny to UN Malong's case and demand answers and justice, similar to how they've addressed other issues in China, like the arbitrary detention of Uyghurs, which is the ongoing mass imprisonment and internment of more than 1 million members of the predominantly Muslim Turkic-speaking ethnic groups and other minorities, without legal process, if I might add, since at least 2017. Those detentions that have been described as potential crimes against humanity or genocide by various international bodies are part of a broader systematic campaign of repression in the Xinjiang region. Now, I had found a video on TikTok of a man from China answering the questions I know we all want to know. I don't know his name, I'm sorry for that, but I did repost the video to my TikTok. I can tell you what he said. He said, in reality, we can't actually go to China and fight back against a public party. That's impossible. But the pressure and damage inflicted on the CCP by public opinion war can sometimes exceed that of an actual war. After reaching 500,000 signatures today, he said that back in a while last year or so. Uh, the petition's at 750,000 now. So Amnesty International, the world's largest human rights organization, began speaking out on behalf of Human Long. Now, I'm going to quickly say something here, guys. I did fact check that, and I feel like he's partly correct. The Chinese Amnesty International made a post of many answers, but I personally thought that the main Amnesty International was going to speak out. Their main page has 2 million followers. But as the Chinese Amnesty has that, whereas the Chinese Amnesty has a lot less, I thought, the bigger page was going to speak out, the main Amnesty International. But I guess both is good too, either or. He goes on to say, some have asked if this organization can do anything against/to the CCP. The answer is yes. Let me show you examples. This organization won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1977. I fact-checked that, and he's correct. Other organizations that have shared the prize with it are the UNHCR, aka the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and the International Red Cross. This gives you an idea of the weight of the world's largest human rights organization. In fact, it publishes an annual human rights report. I did a little more research myself, guys, and what I found is the report can help Human Long by providing documented evidence of abuses, building a factual basis for advocacy, supporting legal cares like asylum, informing policy, and empowering public awareness campaigns against repression and violations of fair trials and free expression, offering a credible resource to challenge oppressive governments and seek justice for victims. I'll explain it more after I finish telling you what the guy said. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep on going off. So anyways, the report could cause the CCP to suffer substantial losses. In mainland China, all businesses, regardless of industry, are extremely afraid of appearing on a list called CCTV's 315. This list is a blacklist, and if you appear on it, your sales for the year could be cut in half, and some business could even go bankrupt. And guys, I did a little bit more research into that list. Here's what I found. CCTV's 315 is China's Central Television Annual Gala. It happens on March 5th, which also happens to be World Consumer Rights Day. It's a hugely influential TV event that exposes companies for fake products, poor services, and unethical practices, often leading to major recalls and scandals, making it a fair day for businesses in China. I gotta go now. Okay, I will. Thank you, Bubba. You have a good one. I had now had a wonderful idea, you guys. We need to get Yuman Long's company on that list. The name of his company is Tianyu Media, and even though it's government owned, it's still a business. Like they'd be a perfect candidate because even if they win the argument that they didn't off certain artists in the cover up, they should still be held reliable since they had so many artists die because of depression. Like makes one wonder what's going on behind the scenes. What crimes or mechanisms may be in play? You too, ice cream tacos. Yes. I will have that right after this, I promise. Okay. I just spilled juice all over myself. I'm sorry. Okay. What crimes or mechanisms may be in play? Negligence leading to death. If the company forces excessively unsafe conditions, fatigue, or fails to protect its talents, it may be liable for wrongful death. Next one is contractual fraud or coercion. If artists are bound by unfair or illegal contracts, the company may commit civil wrongs at least, and possible criminal ones. Possibly criminal ones. I should reword that. That's what this is for to make sure everything's right. Possibly criminal ones. There's also obstruction of justice slash cover up. If investigations into these deaths are manipulated or suppressed, that itself may amount to criminal obstruction. Okay, LOL. So getting back to what the guy said, he said, I learned that one automaker was about to be on this list. You know how much they spent to get their name removed? It cost 5 million RMB. That equates to 706,175 US dollars. Yeah, that's a lot. The Amnesty International has a report which they publish. Yeah, see, I'm so glad I'm doing this right now, catching all those spelling errors. Because this is literally a book report. I filled up a whole book full of information here. But yeah, the Amnesty International has their report, which they publish annually. So besides reputational damage, they can actually take action against them. Can they take action? Can they actually take action against them? Yes, they can. Real money, tens of billions of dollars. So that concludes what the gentleman said. I did repost it to my TikTok. Now I'm going to explain what a source said should happen as soon as the position reaches 990. Actually, it's okay. This is what I said. This is what I think should happen as soon as the petition reaches 999,000. So basically, like 1,000 signatures away. One, independent and external inquiry into EE Media's business practices, the contracts of the deceased artists, and the circumstances of each death. Two, transparency. On forensic reports, CCTV footage, witness statements, and corporate records surrounding. Yep, spell it. And I cannot spell. I'm sorry. On forensic reports, CCTV footage, witness statements, and corporate records surrounding these cases. Three, protections for whistleblowers, ex-artists, and families who may fear retaliation for speaking out in China's entertainment industry. Four, international scrutiny, media platforms, sorry, media platforms, streaming services, investor firms, and talent agencies outside China should refuse to turn a blind eye. Talent pipelines should not feed this type of uh, opacity. Regulatory reform in China's entertainment industry, enforcement of labor, health and safety standards, especially for young performers, must be non-negotiable. And the next one is, I think it's the last one actually. Is it? Yeah, the last one. What can the ABAS do to help? So this is the last topic, and we're almost done. So what can the ABAS do to help? Delivery of list to target. Once a petition has enough signatures, ABAS delivers the list to the intended recipient, who can be a government official, CEO, or another decision maker. The delivery is also accompanied by a list of every signer, including their name, city, and county. Creation of public pressure. The act of delivering a petition with many signatures can create public pressure on the decision maker to respond or act. This can make it more difficult for them to ignore the public outcry. Next one is amplification of the message. ABAS may use various methods, from publicly releasing information to quietly distributing materials to relevant people, to ensure that the petition's message is heard loud and clear. Yeah, message is heard loud and clear and fully understood. Now I wonder, like in China, who would that be to? Because so many higher ups are involved with this case. Even Xi Jinping himself is said to be involved. That's alleged, by the way. They would need to use every extreme measure to get the message out. Definitely be a challenge. Potential for potential for political or policy impact. By creating pressure, increasing public awareness, a successful AVAS petition has the potential to influence the outcome of a decision or event, as shown in the example of a petition on cluster bombs that helped prevent a treaty to allow the stockpiling. The last page, guys. Woo. More ways the AVAS can help. Organizes offline actions like rallies, marches, and symbolic stunts to draw media attention. Funds campaigns that provide funding for campaigns and direct actions to help them proceed and succeed. Advocates for policy change through its various campaigns. The AVAS advocates for policy changes on issues ranging from climate change to corporate accountability. Engages government and corporations. AVAS works to influence both government and corporate decisions through a targeted pressure and advocacy. Now, I did have a question on that last one. More of a thought. If the Chinese government is behind this, how are they going to get the word out to the people of China? Because the topic of this topic of questioning the Chinese government is against their laws. Like, it would be dangerous for a few Chinese residents to go against the government. That could easily be silenced. Well, they can't, off everybody now, can they? Now, I just want to speak on the other possible outcomes for the petitions. Well, sorry. It's important to note that not all petitions result in a direct change, as the ultimate outcome depends on many factors, but a large number of signatures ensures the issue is valuable, is visible, and can influence the conversations around it. Oh, and that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for chilling with me, y'all. I'm very grateful. I can barely speak. No, stop. Oh, I'm very happy. I will see you tomorrow.